Alpha. This is episode 151, and we have a very special guest. His name is Ken Wimberly, and a little bit of background about Ken and what he's currently working on. Of course, the bio is super long, and as I said to Ken, hopefully we can cover as much as possible to squeeze from the time that is given. But just a few things to mention. Ken is the founder of the visionary behind the Legacy of Love LLC. He's married to his soulmate, Amber. He has 3 children, Grace, Knox, and Kai. Ken is a bit of a serial entrepreneur. He says he's the founder of the CVO of KW Net Lease Advisors, a commercial real estate brokerage firm headquartered in Fort Worth, Texas. He is the founding member of Laundry Love, a chain of laundromats with a mission to educate, equip, and inspire those in the communities where they serve. He is also the operating principal / franchise owner of the Keller Williams Realty in Abilene, Texas. He has over 15 different streams of income from real estate investments, operating businesses, coaching services, and oil and gas holdings. And it continues, which of course I definitely recommend for you to read through the rest of the bio, which is of course in the show notes with the rest of the social media links that you should get in contact with Ken and ask him the questions that you will have after watching this episode. So Ken, I appreciate you for joining me today on this episode. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being your guest.
Thank you. I appreciate it as well. So look, okay, so I mean, there's a lot to cover, as I said, but okay, let's maybe go back to the why, and the reasons that you decided to kind of create these different businesses. And you're a little bit, diversified in your businesses and different things. So of course, we're going to cover that. So please take us back to your journey and the beginning stages of starting all these businesses.
Well, most of these businesses are somewhat real estate related, and that journey started back in 2002 is when I entered the commercial real estate business and started as a land broker. Spent the first 5 years of my real estate career doing primarily land assemblages for real estate developers. So my clients were typically residential real estate developers, and I would go spend my days finding tracts of land that we could buy or assemble tracts of land to purchase. And they would take those tracts of land, plan them out, get them zoned, and end up developing residential subdivisions from those tracts of land. And occasionally there would be out parcels that I would help them then sell for either commercial office use for out parcels there. Did that for a number of years, and eventually kind of migrated. We had, as you know, a big downturn in 2008, 2009. And from there, as we came out of that, I did a lot of whatever I could do, what business was available. So a lot of that was bank REO work, helping a couple of banks dispose of assets that they had taken back from defaulted borrowers. Did that for a couple of years, and then eventually made my way into investment sales, specifically into single tenant, triple net investment sales, and then shopping centers, small shopping centers, medical office buildings. Did a whole lot of that for a number of years. And the success I had in the real estate business led to investments. So that we were making investments, some on our own account, many times investing into other people's projects. And that ended up leading from there into our opening up the Keller Williams office, again, in the real estate world. This is a little different. This is in the management ownership world of a franchise rather than the active production of my own. And those things then, and again, leading to my own acquisitions of commercial real estate. So bought a shopping center in Abilene, Texas, and that led me into the laundromat business. Actually, the shopping center, we were looking for a tenant for our shopping center, and learned that a laundromat would be like a really perfect tenant in that center, and we couldn't find a laundromat operator. So we started studying the industry, and then I got together with a couple of people that I respected very much, formed a business partnership, and we became laundromat operators. And so now we've got our first laundromat up at number 2, 3, and 4 right now, about to get started to get those going. So all of those are kind of all somewhat in that real estate vein. And then the other business we've got, you mentioned the Legacy of Love, that is a total kind of divergent path on that one. That comes from a personal passion. I'm a father, as you mentioned. I've got 3 kids. My daughter will be 18 in December. My youngest son will be 5 in December, and my middle son is 16. And I started journaling to my children when Grace was just 1 year old, and Knox, my middle son, he was still in the womb. And I've been doing that now for 17 years. I've been just writing and journaling the stories of my children's life. And over the years, I would tell more and more and more parents about this process because it meant so much to me as I was doing it. And many of those parents started doing the same thing, journaling to their own kids. And they're like, oh my God, this is the most rewarding thing I've ever done. They're like, thank you so much for just telling me about it. And more started coming back saying, Ken, you should actually create something and make it easier for more people to do exactly what you're talking about. And that led eventually to the creation of what's now Legacy of Love, which is a parent-to-child journaling app designed to be a very safe, secure, and private place that's kind of the easy button for capturing moments, memories, lessons that can be passed down to your children as time goes on. And each of these entries can be annotated with photos, videos, voice notes, even saved voicemails, and create a really beautiful digital timeline of your child's life. And so that's kind of the quick and short story of my entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, and the journey continues from here, because when we had a conversation last time with you, I mean, you know, you have your hands full with all these different things that you're working on. And, you know, currently with the Legacy of Love, there's a lot of, you know, different, like you're looking to really expand this business, but look, at the same time, is a great business because, like, at the end of the day, you're involved in, you know, different things at the same time. Like, all of these things come back to real estate, but, you know, 15 different income streams, and one of those are biggest being Legacy of Love. I think, look, we all have our own personal reasons why we're building the businesses that we build. Again, but part of that, the big part of that, is the family, right? So capturing these attention, you know, capturing these moments of the family, of the kids, you know, and because, you know, like my personal, like, photos, they're gone somewhere. I don't know where. You know, it's hard for me to. So if there will be something around like that when I was growing up, I think that will bring a tremendous amount of value for, you know, for myself also. So that is really awesome.
Yeah, what we've learned is for so many people, even today, you know, people have more photos than ever on our iPhones or Android phones, whatever they are. I know I've got 15,000 photos on my phone. I was looking at a friend of mine's phone last week. He had 101,000 photos on his phone, most I've ever seen. And it's crazy. But what happens oftentimes, it's great that it's so convenient. We always have a camera with us, yet the photos tend to become noise. And what I mean by that is there's just so many of them. It's hard to make sense of many. And it's not very frequent that we'll look through years worth of photos because there's so many to try to scroll through. The beauty of what we're doing with Legacy of Love is really taking the highlights, and not even all the highlights, just 1 or 2 or 3, maybe a month in those highlights, capturing the stories of what really meant something to me. One of our subscribers a couple of weeks ago was just sharing with me. It was a beautiful story. He said, look, he said, the most magical thing for me, he said, my daughter was in the bathtub just playing and loving and having the best time with herself, and just her laughter warmed my heart. And he said, so I wanted to slow down. I wanted to remember this moment forever, because I knew that that's not something that I would forever necessarily remember. So he said, I opened up the app, I started taking some notes, and I just wrote down my feelings and what it meant to me to be sharing in that moment with her. And that's the kind of thing that I found is so rewarding as we go back years later and start reviewing the old stories that we've captured. And it's for as wonderful as I hope it will be one day when I pass these stories on to my children, it has filled me immensely just from being able to go back and relive those moments myself.
And that's a very great topic. Again, at the same time, I would love to talk about real estate a little bit, but kind of that topic captures my attention for some reason a little bit more because it just warms our hearts. And look, at the end of the day, I do believe, like, look, that's why we do the businesses and everything, just to kind of support our lifestyle and to provide to the families and just to you know make a greater impact on the communities and people that are around us. But it's those moments, like, because everybody who's watching this episode right now or listening on iTunes, try to remember, when you like bought something, let's say a pair of shoes, like 2015, December 6th. It's really hard. Like, what did you bought? Like, if it's not the shoes, just some item that you bought, it's really difficult to remember. Maybe there's somebody can remember, and comment below if you remember. But remember the last time, let's say you've been 2015, December 6th, maybe you did something special, and that's easier to remember because those memories are a bigger part of our personal lives than the businesses. But businesses is what makes those memories happen. So again, coming back to Net Lease Advisors, can you, just to go us through what you're offering with your company right now at the moment?
Yeah, KW Net Lease Advisors is a commercial real estate brokerage company, small team, and we help folks to buy and sell really income producing commercial real estate in a couple of narrow niches, if you will. One is in the single tenant net lease world. So those could be dollar stores, auto parts stores, pharmacies, et cetera, things like that. And the other is in small shopping centers. So we'll say 3 to 5 tenant shopping centers. And the last is in the medical office space. Those are really the three worlds that we have a great deal of expertise in. We're not experts in multifamily. We're not experts in, we don't do much land anymore. We don't do industrial. I have colleagues in all of those areas that if we have opportunities, I'm happy to make introductions to folks in those niches. But where our niche is, and really those three things. And we've had a lot of success over the years and been able to help many folks both on the buy and sell side of those products.
Got it. So and all of these properties that we're talking about, those are you operating mainly in Texas area, right?
We're based in Texas, but it's part of our benefit. We're with KW Commercial, which is commercial arm of the Keller Williams network. So we have partners throughout the country in most states. So we've sold assets via our partners with in 12 different states.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. So can you just talk about a little bit what's happening? Because I'm looking at the website and you can go and check it out, like the properties that are available for sale or for lease, and that's netleaseexperts.com/listings. So can you talk about what's happening in this space currently? With the is the people looking to sell the properties that they have? Like shopping centers, is people are they renting? Like what's happening in industry? Because people are telling me at least that the retail is dying, and like because of the COVID and all of these happening, there's a lot of different shifts. So if you can give us a few insights into kind of retail space and what's happening maybe in Texas in particular, that would be great.
I mean, there is certainly going to be a shift in the way retail is used in the future, right? There are certain, at least over the next couple of years. Now, maybe things, I don't like to think that anything is quite permanent, but I think what the world we're in is going to be around for at least another 12, 18 months right here. And so the use of retail is going to be very different. Many places are around the country are still operating at half or even quarter capacity. And that's causing a big issue, not just in retail, but retail and office as well. So while industrial seems to be having a really nice boon and uptick from this, especially the distribution component of that, retail and office has taken a hit. That said, I haven't seen a ton of opportunity coming across, and I haven't seen a whole lot of blood in the streets, if you will, or people that need or desperate to sell right now. I did see a colleague of mine had shot me over investment package. I've invested in some of his opportunities before, where they were picking up a fractured office condo project. So it was an office condo project that ended up going belly up during COVID. They couldn't get the financing and or couldn't close the deals and finish it off. And so there's the first really opportunity that I've seen come across my desk. And that's just one instead of what many expected would be many. The expectation is maybe getting through Q1 into Q2 of next year, there's more opportunities, more people start saying, okay, my tenants haven't come back. I don't have the income that I thought I had. I've still got to pay all these expenses. I've still got this bank note, and then maybe some opportunities start to show themselves. But as of right now, I haven't seen the huge opportunity yet.
Got it. So do you came across some maybe multifamily syndicators that are looking to buy the deals? Because you mentioned there's, all these operators when it comes to the office, maybe space, they're not looking to kind of sell the deals currently. Because I came across a few operators who are actually looking to redevelop the office space and make it kind of, the apartment, units, livable space. Is that happening?
So I've heard of some of that actually in New York. I have a colleague in New York, and she kind of mentioned that there is some of that. In fact, some folks trying to transact some of that, some conversion of underutilized office into residential type multifamily living right there. But I haven't seen it here. Certainly haven't seen it in Texas that I've been aware of recently.
Got it. Okay. So transitioning to I don't know if we will be able to cover the 15 again income streams that we talked about, but another thing that it got my attention is Laundry Love, and again, so that's laundrylove.com. And you're open, by the way. It says we're open, and if you're looking for laundry mat service, Abilene, Texas, here you go. They're open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So can you talk about again this business model and why, how, like you mentioned kind of how did it get your attention, but for what reason have you decided to invest in this type of business model?
Yeah, and by the way, so website laundryloveluv.com,
laundryloveluv.com.
And yeah, please go check us out. I'll tell you what interested us in, what initially got us at least interested in looking at it was it looked to be one of those rather recession-proof businesses. And my partner and I were interested in investing in, second, third generation shopping centers, B, C kind of markets where we could bring some improvements into them and bring value. And as we looked at acquiring this one, there was vacancy. We had talked to a number of different industries or people in different industries, and the laundromat industry kept coming up. So as we started studying the industry, what we found attractive was that there seemed to be relatively high profit margins in the industry, particularly if they were run well. And so we dove into it, and that was attractive to us, of course, finding a business that had an opportunity to make a decent profit margin in it. However, just that and being in the laundromat industry didn't thrill us. What we got excited about was the ability for us to really make an impact. All three of us as partners have a deep desire to give back and make an impact in the world in some small way. And what we learned as we were studying the laundromat industry is most laundromats are built in kind of lower income areas. That's the predominant walk-in tenant from a laundromat is in the lower income threshold. And we learned a startling statistic as we were studying the industry. And that is that in some of these lower income areas, there are 1 in 300 homes that actually have books in the homes for the children to read. And that still today baffles me that is a true statistic, yet it is. And what we saw an opportunity to do, and we saw a movement starting from a small percentage of the laundromat industry that was to use laundromats as a community resource, as a place to bring value into the community, other than just a place to do one's laundry, which is what the important part they're for. But while they're there, while there's children there, to have books available for the children to read. So in our prototype that we designed a children's reading area, a dedicated children's play area that we set up with games and whatnot for kids. Mm-hmm. And then we put some very nice beautiful, large, oversized picnic tables so that families can sit together, maybe bring in food and sit together, let the children read some books, all while they're getting the laundry taken care of right there. And that got us excited to be able to use our laundromats as a community resource. So we're bringing in, during tax time, we're bringing in tax prep help to help people with their taxes. It's weird during this COVID world right now. We're not be able to be around each other as quite as much. But what we're also doing is bringing in health professionals to do things like wellness screening for folks that maybe don't have a regular doctor. So we love the opportunity to use our laundromat as a benefit to the greater community.
Yeah, and that is beautiful because there's people that come across this business model. They don't think that it could be kind of family friendly experience. It's just a kind of, you come in and you wash your clothes and you leave. But you're making it for the community, in that way, and that's why I love this business model. Because like I'm looking at the pictures, and of course you can find it on a website. Children reading books, and those are available. Playground, again, you mentioned the picnic tables, and it's a different experience that personally, like, I never seen myself before. So
we get amazing feedback and comments from people that come in and they look around and they're just in awe. They're like, I've never seen a laundromat this beautiful and clean, and like, we will be back. So it's exciting to us to make that kind of statement to people.
So is the Laundry Love, that's what you currently have? Is it one location, or are you on multiple locations?
One today. We're in the process of designing and planning our next 3 locations. So we're soon we will be 4.
Got it. Good. That's good to hear, because that's a great way to add additional kind of, support for the community. So love it. You're coming from the perspective of, just giving and providing, service for people, but that's on another level, so I love that about you. So talking about, your kind of being a position of operating this franchise of Keller Williams Realty, can you talk about how did you came across that opportunity?
Well, I joined the Keller Williams family with KW Commercial in 2009, and one of the best decisions I ever make. It's just a really wonderful company with this great culture, a great environment of training and technology, and I've learned so much about business and then about life in general. Listening to Gary Keller taught me a lot early in my, I guess it was not relatively early in my real estate career. It just taught me a lot. And he was, to be quite honest, one of the first mentors I had to introduce me to the personal development space. And listening to Gary and some of his leadership up on stage, talking about the books that they were reading and what they were doing to develop their own minds, got me on a journey of personal development that has been pretty incredible this past 10 years. And, so through my affiliation with KW, as I started succeeding more and more in our real estate team, opportunity came up to go and open up a real estate franchise out in Abilene, Texas. They had a small group of people, a little small business center out there in Abilene, and they wanted someone to come in and help grow it into something large. And we took it from what was around, I think, 19 agents when I came in to that market, and we've grown it to now over 130 agents in 3 kind of separate locations. So we've done pretty good with it.
Yeah, and at the same time, it feeds your other business a little bit, the KW Net Lease Advisors, as I mentioned, when it comes to providing the potential deals, right?
Well, we're in separate markets on that one, so not as much on that, because we're actually 3 hours away from each other on that. So no, it's just a totally separate thing that we've done. But what it's done is we've brought in leadership out there. I have a wonderful partner that's our team leader out there, and the way that she pours into the agents and helps people. So we can take someone that's brand new into the industry, plug them into systems, models, technology, and get them thriving in really building a big business. And that's quite rewarding for us.
Yeah, definitely. So the as you mentioned, the inspiration part, again, for the people who didn't read the book by Gary Keller, it's called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Go and search this out, because it's widely known book, by the real estate investors. So again, transitioning into another piece, which is one of the 15 income streams is like you're doing the coaching services. So again, can you talk about that? Because I think it's very important to mention for the people, because as you know yourself, there's a lot of uncertainty happening all over the world. So getting some, mindset shifts with the help of a coach, because I can put enough emphasis, how important is that for the business owners or just people in general, to have somebody that can guide them through the times of uncertainty. So can you talk about what do you provide with your services?
You bet. So I hired my first business coach in 2010. So shortly after I joined Keller Williams, about maybe 6 months after I joined, I hired my first business coach. And I've had a business coach ever since that time. So for the last 10 years, I have never gone without at least one business coach in my life at a time. And today I have a couple of different coaches right now. I just think it's that important. And what I've learned is that there are always aspects of our lives that we really want to be advancing in. And in order to do that at a really high level, it takes some accountability and it takes someone to help you see your blind spots. Because it's often we all know I'm a big believer that there's this massive energy around and through all of us. And the answers to anything that any of us could want to know is found inside of that energy. However, unlocking that sometimes is really, really difficult to do. And I found that for me, having a coach to help guide me, help focus me, and help hold me accountable has brought me to new levels in my life. And it really, really has in all aspects of my life, both in business and in my personal life, my health and wellness, my fitness. Having kind of coaches in places for all that's great. So I got together with a couple of folks about a year ago, and we've created a coaching company. We've recently kind of added a number of coaches. It's High Ridge Coaching. So you go to highridgecoaching.com, kind of check us out there. And we're specific for the commercial real estate industry. That's our niche. Is we are all veterans of the commercial real estate industry. I think our average tenure is somewhere around 25 or 30 years. We've got at least one coach that has 50 years of experience right there. So we've been in the business a long time. We've been in the trenches, we practice, and we all want to help and give back and help others to grow and focus and succeed at whatever it is that they choose to succeed in. So commercial real estate is our niche as far as our coaching practice. And then for me personally, I'm really big on helping people through a broader perspective than just commercial real estate. I always want health and wellness to be involved in that component as well. I think our physical fitness, our health, the wellness of our body, the body-mind connection cannot be overstated.
Definitely. Because look, we have this one vehicle, it's not like a car that you can go and buy a brand new car or lease it. Like you have this one vehicle and it has to carry through all the ups and the downs and the tough and the good times. So making sure that you will take care of the body, it's a very important thing. And I just want to read one quote out because, personally, I just love the quote, and maybe we can kind of segue into, again, kind of the mindset and building the business piece during the current times. Like the quote says, the best math you can learn is how to calculate the future cost of the current decisions. And I love that quote because everything that we're having this conversation and the reasons why you achieved what you achieved, successfully building, multiple businesses at the same time, having 15 different income streams is because of the decisions. You made probably quite a few decisions along the way and still making those right now while we're talking. So can you talk about maybe some things that you see and you can point out, again, because you're working with Keller Williams, so from that perspective for the brokers and maybe commercial side and or maybe in general for the people that you see that they're struggling the most and some things that they can fix in the personal life or in business?
Well, look, I think if someone's listening to this conversation right now, right, they're listening to your podcast, and that alone is one step forward. And that's an effort to educate oneself and to listen to what others who have succeeded before you have done and learn something from their successes, maybe learn something from their failures. I love being able to learn from others' failures and not have to make those same mistakes myself. There's plenty of mistakes I'm going to make on my own. I choose not to make additional ones if possible. But educating yourself is a really, really big and important step. I would encourage everyone to read every single day. And I'm not talking about fiction. I have nothing against fiction and reading fiction, but when I'm talking about reading, let's say 10 pages a day, make that in some type of book that will improve your life, whether it's a relationship book, a book on parenting, a book on business, and ideally specific in the business you're in. If you're in the real estate business, get books on real estate, get books on investing. I'm in the tech business now with Legacy of Love. So I'm reading all kinds of books on product development, on growth, on analytics. I'm reading every single day, both physically books that I'm reading and on Audible, listening to them. So if I'm in my car, I'm listening to an Audible or I'm listening to a podcast and I'm learning. Tony Robbins likes to call that net time. I think it's no extra time is what he calls it. It means that you're in your car already. You've got the time you're spending for 30 or 45 minutes on your commute, or whether it's 15 minutes from a short drive. But that 15 minutes, if you make that drive every single day, 5 days a week, I mean, that stuff adds up right there. And then you're listening to an Audible or listening to a podcast the whole time right there. You're educating your mind. You're expanding your mind. I can't tell you, just today, I've taken a half a dozen notes and action steps from the 2 podcasts I listened to today. I was like, oh my goodness, I got to write that down and I've got to remember and I've got to take action on that. So I put it on my Trello board as an action step for when I kind of get to that right there. So learning, educating yourself, seeking knowledge from others, find mentors, find coaches, find accountability partners. And like your accountability partner, you don't have to hire and spend the money on a coach if you're not in a place to do that. Yet you should seek accountability, and you can do that from a friend, from a colleague, from a number of people. I don't necessarily advise your spouse. It's not great to have you or your spouse holding each other accountable in certain ways, but there's lots of ways that you can implement accountability in your life. So a handful of things is just really continue to educate yourself, learn every single day, read every single day. Hal Elrod when I read The Miracle Morning, the math helped me on this one. 10 pages a day, 365 days a year, right? So every single day of the year, it's 10 pages. It takes 10, 15 minutes a day, not much time. 365 days. So you got 3,650 pages over the year, which is like 15 to 20 books a year, depending on how many pages are in the book right there. That's a lot. You start reading 15 to 20 books a year. I can tell you that for many, many years after I graduated college, I read a grand total of 0 books per year. And when I mentioned when I first joined Keller Williams, I heard everyone talking about the books that they were reading. I thought, maybe that's something I should start doing. Maybe I should start reading some books. And that slowly started. And then after reading The Miracle Morning, I started reading, an average of 12 to 20 books a year. And I think that's been a massive key to my growth over the past 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the secret sauce, is just basically going and consuming as much information as possible. Because what I noticed, like through my personal experience, that a lot of people do get confused because once you start to exploring these different things, and if you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki books, and then you read the Tony Robbins, you will get confused a little bit because these people are telling you different perspectives, and sometimes it's hard for people to take those perspectives and make their own personal recipe. And that's the way I think people should consume information. There's no one answer. There's no one tool that's going to fix your house. It's going to be multiple different things that you need to go and learn and make personal recipe, because that's what it's all about. But one of the, components into living kind of the well-rounded life, and like for me personally, when I talk with you and when we had a conversation, it seems like you're having this kind of living this kind of a little bit full life. It's not even the business that you're running. You're really giving back to the communities, and you're not only talking about it, oh, I will do that in the future. Like this is actually happening right now. And you're looking to impact people in a greater way, again, with a legacy of love, with with your company now. So can you talk about why is it such an important piece for people to give back?
Okay, I'll go to, you know, quote Tony Robbins again. I think he says that giving is the purpose of living. Is somewhere around that what his quote says. And there's another that says to whom much is given, much is expected. I think that's even getting back to scripture and stuff right there. So I think it's just when we have the benefit of helping another, it it is one of the most rewarding things that we can do. That's one of the things I love about being a dad and a parent is um, it's the ability to help someone in this journey of life. And for a parent, it's wonderful because it's this daily helping and watching little incremental changes that get to happen with your children. But you know, in with Laundry Love and the communities that we're at, when we're getting to help someone in just the little ways that we can help, and we see what it means to them, it fills my heart, it fills my partner's hearts, our team members' hearts. Um, and it gets back to, you know, I talked a minute ago about gratitude. And I think it really comes down to that. Giving back is a way of showing gratitude and being grateful. And when we're grateful for things, we don't have a chance to feel the other negative emotions, fear or anger or jealousy or so many other things that might be out there when we're just simply being grateful. And so I think when we talk about generosity, for me, it comes back to just another way of showing gratitude.
Yeah, exactly. So can we talk about a little bit of legacy, your company Legacy of Love, a little bit again what you're planning to accomplish with that, because again you're on like another level, because we spoke about a little bit and you understand the importance of the social media, AI based technology and what's happening in industry. Like the industrial age is over, like many years ago, that's over. So now it's the digital age, right? So we're living in this new century right now. So can you talk about what you're looking to accomplish with Legacy of Love in a coming year or two?
Yeah, well, right now it's a big focus on continuing to refine the product, the app, to make it the most user friendly. I use the term easy button, right? To make it the super easy, intuitive way to quickly capture memories, capture moments, write down a quick lesson, and make it really easy for parents and easy for folks to remember. Hey, I need to slow down and do something like this, because what we find ourselves doing often is being trapped up in the whirlwind of daily life. And like if you were to look at my calendar right now, you just shake your head because of all the appointments that are on my calendar. So we go from one to another to another to another, and it's so easy to have that happen. We go home, we just wind down and do nothing, and then repeat and repeat and repeat. Next thing you know, you wake up and it's been months or years that have just slipped away from you. And so what we are attempting to be is a solution to help slow down time a little bit, or help people to intentionally slow down time, and remember the important details that are happening in their lives. And even more importantly, to pass those stories that they capture down to future generations. Our goal is to help as many people as we can. Ultimately, we'd love for that to be 10 million or more families down the road and around the world that we're helping to intentionally capture moments and memories. And the feedback we're getting from people that are doing it is really incredible and it's really rewarding. So if we can help one more person to, you know, to slow down and do that kind of thing, then we're winning.
Here we go. Definitely. So become part of that. Go and check it out. The Legacy of Love, that's available on Android and iPhone as well. Go and check it out. The app that, you know, they have, I mean, it's pretty incredible. So I love the fact that you're, you know, giving out to the communities and to the people. You know, you're touching people in a little bit different, you know, way. And I love that about you because, you know, you're making, because I'm all about, you know, having this bigger picture, bigger, you know, because there's always something more than us, you know, it's more than the businesses that we do and whatever we're thinking that we're doing big. Look, at the same time, well, you know, there's people building, you know, businesses, and I'm looking to close the 20-unit apartment complex. I mean, it's awesome. Congratulations. But at the same time, knowing that Elon Musk is looking to fly to Mars, I mean, that scares me. You know, it's like, man, we definitely can do more. And it's like, of course, people think Elon Musk is kind of a special, unique type of gene, but I'm sure he can prove to pretty much almost everybody that, look, you can learn a lot. Is exactly, that's what Ken is saying, that through the books, through the experience, talking with people, networking, and looking for ways how we can add value, maybe on a bigger level to the communities out there, because now it's the time where we should focus on that for sure. So last question that I have for you, again, besides building all these great companies, what is your personal legacy that you want to leave behind?
Okay, I'm creating, my legacy is my children. It will be left through my 3 children. They are really wonderful, giving, loving human beings. And for that, I feel like I've succeeded alone right now, just because of the way that they have shown up to the world. My daughter wants to be a nurse. My son, not quite sure yet. He's really, really technical smart. He's thinking he may want to do a real estate career, get in the development world. It's just, who knows, the sky's the limit for him. And then our little 5-year-old, just wicked smart, questioning us nonstop on things. And I love that his little brain is like that. So when I look at my ultimate legacy, it's the life that is lived through the success of my children.
Beautiful, beautiful. And that's a ripple effect that, you know, your kids are going to have on a lot of people in a great way. So that's awesome. So guys and girls, I mean, there's a lot of different things to take away from here. And I would love for you to get in contact with Ken, you know, because I'm sure he will be able to answer a few questions, you know, about, again, real estate investing and the businesses that he's currently into. Because of course, there's so much more information that we missed and we didn't cover. But of course, go and check it out, his websites. All those links are going to be down below. And make sure to pass this episode along to the friend of yours, maybe a person who's looking for, you know, that wealth of knowledge and, you know, inspiration, strategies, and tips on real estate investing, because there's a lot of great different pieces here in that episode. So make sure to do that. Ken, personally want to say thank you again for being on this episode and sharing all the great, you know, information for the people. So I appreciate it.
Again, thank you for having me. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you, Ken. Again, make sure to pass this episode along to the friend of yours. And as always, I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for watching.